A billionaire discovers a homeless girl sobbing at his son's grave. When she reveals what she's carrying, it exposes a conspiracy that will destroy everything he built and force him to choose between his empire and the truth his son died protecting. What happens next is unbelievable. The pre-dawn mist clung to the cemetery gates as Marcus Blackwell's black Mercedes pulled through the wrought iron entrance. Every Sunday, same time, same route. 5:47 a.m. Early enough that the groundskeepers hadn't arrived. Early enough that he could pretend for just an hour that the world hadn't ended 3 months ago. Marcus Blackwell hadn't built a pharmaceutical empire by being soft. His salt and pepper hair was still thick, his suits custom-tailored, his handshake firm enough to close billion-dollar deals. The business magazines called him a visionary. The medical journals called him a pioneer. Wall Street called him a money-making machine. But none of that mattered anymore. He walked the familiar path to Section 7, Row 12. The stone was still new, the marble so white it seemed to glow in the morning fog. Daniel Marcus Blackwell. Beloved son. 2002 to 2025. He gave everything. Marcus knelt, his expensive shoes dampening on the grass. He'd chosen those final words himself, though he hadn't understood them then. Daniel had always been giving. His time, his money, his attention to causes Marcus considered distractions from the family business. "You should have been working on the new drug trials," Marcus whispered, his voice cracking. "You should have been in the office that night, not at some clinic in the worst part of the city." The guilt ate at him daily. Their last conversation had been an argument. Daniel wanted to discuss pricing ethics and access to medicine. Marcus had called him naive, told him the real world didn't run on good intentions. That was Tuesday. By Friday, Daniel was gone. Car accident, they said. Steering failure on a rain-slicked road. Marcus traced his son's name with one finger. 23 years old. A medical degree from Johns Hopkins. A heart too big for the cutthroat pharmaceutical industry. And now just carved letters on cold stone. The sound of crying shattered his solitude. Marcus's head snapped up. Someone was here, at his time in his private grief. Anger flared hot in his chest. 30 feet away, hunched against Daniel's headstone, was a young woman. Her clothes were wrinkled and dirty, her dark hair matted and unwashed. A bulging backpack sat beside her, the kind street people carried their entire lives in. She was sobbing so hard her whole body shook, her hands pressed against the marble as if trying to draw strength from the stone itself. "Hey!" Marcus's voice came out harsher than he intended. Sharpened by 3 months of rage he had nowhere to direct. "What are you doing here?" The girl's head jerked up. Her face was gaunt, streaked with tears and grime. She couldn't have been more than 19 or 20. Her eyes were red-rimmed, wild with an emotion Marcus couldn't quite place. Fear? Grief? Something else? I said, "What are you doing?" Marcus strode toward her, his businessman instincts kicking in. Homeless people sometimes came to cemeteries looking for flowers to sell, or checking for anything valuable left at graves. "This is a private moment. You need to leave." I'm so sorry," the girl stammered, scrambling to her feet but not moving away from the headstone. She clutched her backpack to her chest like a shield. "I didn't mean to, I just needed to." "I don't care what you needed." Marcus's voice was ice. "This is my son's grave. My son. And I come here to be alone. Now leave before I call security. Your son saved my life." The words hung in the air between them. Marcus froze, his phone halfway out of his pocket. "What did you say?" The girl's chin trembled. Fresh tears spilled down her cheeks. Daniel Blackwell. He saved my life. And I I need to tell you something. Something he wanted you to know. Marcus felt the world tilt slightly. In 3 months, not a single person from Daniel's other life, the clinics, the volunteering, the causes, had contacted him. It was as if that entire part of his son's existence had vanished with him. And now this girl, this stranger, stood at his grave claiming connection. You knew Daniel. His voice came out softer now, uncertain. He was like a brother to me. Emma's voice broke. The only family I had. And I promised him if anything ever happened, I promised I'd find you. I've been sleeping in the park across the street for 2 weeks, waiting for you to come. Marcus stared at her. Really looked at her for the first time. Beneath the dirt and exhaustion, he saw intelligence in her eyes, determination, and something else that made his chest tighten, the same stubborn set to her jaw that Daniel had when he believed in something. What's your name? Emma Rodriguez. And how exactly did my son save your life, Ms. Rodriguez? Emma's hand tightened on her backpack. Can we sit? Please. This is going to take some time to explain. Before we continue with this incredible journey, I spent countless hours researching and crafting this story to bring you something truly meaningful. If stories like this touch your heart and you want to see more tales of hidden truths that change everything, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. It means the world to me and helps these important stories reach others who need to hear them. Now, let's see what Emma reveals to Marcus, because what she's about to say will shatter everything he thought he knew about his son. Marcus led Emma to a stone bench beneath an old oak tree, far enough from Daniel's grave to feel less exposed, but close enough that he could still see the white marble gleaming through the morning mist. Emma sat carefully, as if uncertain whether this privilege might be revoked at any moment. She placed her backpack between them like a barrier, or a bridge. 6 months ago, Emma began, her voice steadier now but still threaded with pain. I collapsed at a bus stop downtown. Just fell over like someone had cut my strings. When I woke up, I was in a free clinic in the Riverside district. Marcus knew the area. Riverside was where ambulances went reluctantly and police sirens never stopped. It was also where Daniel had spent his evenings, against every warning Marcus had given him. They ran tests. Said I had a rare blood disorder, a plastic anemia with complications they'd only seen in medical journals. Without treatment, I had maybe 6 months. With treatment. Emma's laugh was bitter. The number they quoted me might as well have been $1 million. I was 19, working 2 part-time jobs that didn't offer insurance, no family, no savings. I'd aged out of foster care the year before. She looked down at her hands, and Marcus noticed the medical bracelet on her wrist, the kind hospitals give patients with chronic conditions. I went back to that clinic 3 days later to ask them to make it quick. Whatever they could do to make the end painless. Her voice dropped to a whisper. I was ready to die, Mr. Blackwell. I'd made peace with it. And that's when I met your son. Marcus's throat tightened. Daniel was working there? Every Tuesday and Thursday night, plus Saturday mornings. The other doctors said he'd been volunteering for almost 2 years. He was the one who reviewed my file that day. Emma finally looked up, meeting Marcus's eyes. He didn't treat me like a charity case or a sob story. He treated me like I mattered. Like my life was worth fighting for. What did he do? Emma reached for her backpack, then hesitated. He told me there was an experimental treatment being tested. Ironically, by Blackwell Pharmaceuticals. It wasn't FDA approved yet, but it showed incredible promise. The cost to get me into the trial cover all the preliminary work, the monitoring. It was over $200,000. Marcus's business mind automatically calculated. $200,000 was nothing to him. Pocket change in the pharmaceutical world. But to a 19-year-old with nothing. Daniel paid for it, Emma said simply. All of it. He didn't tell me until later that he'd emptied his trust fund. Money his grandmother left him. Money you probably didn't even know he'd touched. Marcus hadn't known. Daniel had his own accounts, his own financial independence. Marcus had assumed his son was saving it, investing it, being responsible. He visited me every week during the treatment, brought me books, food, just sat with me when the side effects were bad. He told me about medical school, about his dreams of making medicine accessible to everyone, not just people who could afford it. Emma's voice grew thick with emotion. He became the brother I never had, the family I'd always wanted. Why didn't he tell me? The question came out before Marcus could stop it, raw with hurt. Why did he keep this secret? Emma met his gaze steadily. Because he knew you wouldn't approve. He said you saw medicine as a business, and he saw it as a calling. He said you'd think he was being foolish, throwing money away on. She gestured to herself. Someone like me. The words hit Marcus like a physical blow because they were true. He would have said exactly that. Would have lectured Daniel about sustainability, about how you can't save everyone, about the importance of scalable solutions over individual charity. The treatment worked, Emma continued. I'm alive because of him. I was getting stronger, getting my life back together. Daniel helped me find a better job, helped me apply for college programs. He believed in me when no one else did. She finally unzipped her backpack and pulled out a leather journal, worn at the edges and stuffed with loose papers and photographs. Marcus recognized it immediately. He'd given it to Daniel for his 18th birthday. 2 weeks before the accident, Daniel came to see me. He seemed worried, distracted. He said if anything ever happened to him, I needed to find you and give you this. Emma's hands trembled as she held out the journal. He made me promise. Made me swear I wouldn't give up until I found you. Marcus took the journal with shaking hands. Daniel's handwriting was on the cover. The truth about Blackwell Pharmaceuticals. What is this? Your son wasn't just helping me, Mr. Blackwell. He was documenting everything. Every patient who couldn't afford medication. Every family bankrupted by drug prices. Every decision made by Blackwell Pharmaceuticals that put profits over people. Emma's voice hardened. Including decisions you signed off on. Marcus opened the journal. The first page was a patient chart. A woman with diabetes who died because she'd been rationing insulin she couldn't afford. The insulin manufactured by Blackwell Pharmaceuticals. The price had increased 340% in 3 years. Daniel was building a case, Emma said quietly. He was going to go public. Blow the whistle on pricing practices, on delayed generics, on everything he'd discovered working in those clinics, seeing firsthand what the pharmaceutical industry was doing to people. Marcus flipped through page after page. Charts, testimonials, internal memos he recognized from his own office. His signature on pricing approvals. His initials on decisions to extend patents. There's more, Emma whispered. The accident. Daniel didn't think it was an accident. The last time I saw him, he said someone knew what he was doing. He said he was being followed. He said if anything happened to him, I should assume. That's enough. Marcus closed the journal abruptly, his mind reeling. You're talking about conspiracy theories. My son died because of a mechanical failure in wet conditions. The police investigated. Did they? Emma's eyes were fierce now. Or did someone make sure they'd find exactly what they were supposed to find? Daniel named names in that journal, Mr. Blackwell, including your COO, Richard Chen, the man who's been running operations while you've been grieving. Marcus stood abruptly, the journal clutched in his white-knuckled grip. This was insane. Daniel, his idealistic, naive son, caught up in some kind of corporate espionage fantasy. And this girl, this stranger, trying to drag him into it. But even as he tried to dismiss it, a small voice in his head whispered, "What if she's right? What would you do if you discovered someone with incredible dedication to justice living in such difficult circumstances, carrying information that could destroy everything you built? Would you investigate or protect what you have? Let me know your thoughts below. I read every comment." Marcus didn't go home that morning. He couldn't. Instead, he drove Emma to a diner 6 blocks from the cemetery, ignoring her protests about her appearance and the stares from other patrons. He ordered her breakfast, eggs, toast, coffee, orange juice, and watched as she ate with the careful deliberation of someone who didn't know when her next meal might come. While she ate, he read every page of Daniel's journal, every documented case, every memo with his signature, every patient story his son had carefully recorded in his precise medical handwriting. This memo, Marcus tapped a page dated 8 months ago. I remember this meeting. We were discussing the pricing strategy for Hemalox, the same drug used in your treatment. The finance team projected we could increase revenue by 200% if we delayed the generic release by 3 years. And you approved it. Emma's voice wasn't accusatory, just stating fact. I approved it, Marcus confirmed, the words tasting like ash. Because the patent was legal. Because we'd invested billions in research. Because that's how the business works. But how many people died because they couldn't afford it while you waited? Emma asked softly. Daniel documented 47 cases in just 6 months. 47 people who needed Hemalox and couldn't get it. Marcus had no answer. In the boardroom, these were statistics, market analyses, projected revenue streams. Here, in this diner, looking at photographs of real people Daniel had tried to save, they were something else entirely. I need to ask you something, Marcus said finally. And I need you to be completely honest with me. Why you? Why did Daniel trust you with this? Emma set down her coffee cup. Because I told him I'd seen the car. Marcus's blood went cold. What car? The night before his accident. I was waiting outside the clinic. Daniel was supposed to help me with a college application. There was a black SUV parked across the street with its lights off. When Daniel came out, it started following him. Slowly. Like it wanted him to know he was being watched. Emma's hands trembled slightly. I told Daniel about it. He didn't seem surprised. He just said it was time. That things were going to happen fast. That's when he gave me the journal and made me promise. Marcus felt something crack open in his chest. The certainty he'd been clinging to that Daniel's death was just a tragic accident. Did you tell the police? I tried. They said I had no evidence. That I couldn't even identify the vehicle or read a license plate. They implied I was just a grief-stricken kid looking for someone to blame. Emma met his eyes. But I know what I saw, Mr. Blackwell. And when I started asking questions, when I started digging into Daniel's investigation, strange things started happening. What kind of things? Someone broke into my apartment, the tiny studio I'd finally saved enough to rent. They didn't take my laptop or my phone. They went through my papers, my files. And then last week, Emma pulled out her phone, showing him a text message with no caller ID. Stop asking questions about Daniel Blackwell. For your own safety. Marcus stared at the message, his mind racing through possibilities. Richard Chen had been his right hand for 15 years. They'd built the company's modern success together. But he'd also been the most vocal opponent of Daniel's wasteful charity work. He'd called Daniel's volunteering a PR liability. I need you to stay somewhere safe, Marcus said abruptly. Do you have anywhere to go? Emma laughed bitterly. I've been sleeping in parks for 2 weeks trying to find you. Before that, I gave up my apartment because I couldn't afford rent after taking time off work to investigate Daniel's death. So no, Mr. Blackwell, I don't have anywhere safe. Marcus pulled out his phone and made a call. Sarah, it's Marcus Blackwell. I need you to prepare the guest house. Yes, indefinitely. No, I'll explain later. And Sarah, not a word to anyone at the office. No one can know. He hung up and looked at Emma. I have a guest house on my property. Separate entrance, full kitchen, complete privacy. You'll stay there while we figure this out. I can't, that's too much. My son saved your life, Marcus interrupted. And you've risked everything to honor his memory. It's the least I can do. Besides, he tapped the journal. If even half of what's in here is true, you're in danger. Real danger. And I need time to investigate without tipping off whoever might be watching. Emma's eyes filled with tears. Why are you helping me? An hour ago you wanted me gone. Because an hour ago, I thought I knew who my son was. I thought I understood what he died for." Marcus's voice roughened. "Now I'm realizing I didn't know him at all. And the only person who seems to have truly understood Daniel is sitting across from me, homeless and scared, trying to finish what he started." Over the next week, Marcus began his own investigation. Quietly, carefully, he started pulling records, reviewing decisions, following the threads Daniel had laid out. Emma stayed in the guest house, recovering her strength, but also providing crucial context for Daniel's notes. They developed a routine. Every evening after Marcus returned from the office, where he played the grieving father going through the motions, he'd come to the guest house and they'd work through another section of the journal. It was Emma who first noticed they were being watched. "There's a car," she said on the fifth night, peering through the curtains. "Same one as 3 nights ago. Different from the one yesterday. They're rotating surveillance." Marcus looked and felt his stomach drop. A nondescript sedan with 2 occupants, parked just far enough away to seem innocent. "They know you have the journal," Emma whispered. "They know I'm here." The next morning, Marcus arrived at his office to find Richard Chen waiting in his private conference room. The COO's smile was warm, concerned, but something in his eyes made Marcus's skin crawl. "Marcus, we need to talk about your recent activities." "I don't know what you mean." "The records you've been accessing. The old pricing memos. The patent extension files." Richard's smile didn't waver. "And the girl, Emma Rodriguez. We're worried about you, Marcus. Grief can make us vulnerable to manipulation." "We?" Marcus kept his voice level. "Who's we, Richard?" "The board. Your leadership team. Everyone who cares about you and this company." Richard leaned forward. "This girl, she's trouble. She's been asking dangerous questions, stirring up conspiracies about Daniel's death. We think she's trying to extort you, using your grief against you. Or maybe she's telling the truth." The temperature in the room seemed to drop 10 degrees. Richard's smile finally faded. "Be very careful, Marcus. Daniel was troubled, unstable. His death was a tragedy, but dragging this company through the mud won't bring him back. And associating with someone making wild accusations could destroy everything you've built. Everything we've built together. Is that a threat?" "It's a warning. From a friend." Richard stood. "The board is concerned. They're talking about whether you're fit to lead right now. Whether your judgment is compromised. I've been defending you, Marcus. But if you keep going down this path, I won't be able to protect you anymore." After Richard left, Marcus sat in his office, staring at his phone. He had 2 choices. Back down, let this go, protect his empire. Or push forward, risk everything, and potentially prove that his own company had murdered his son. His phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "They're moving against you. You have 48 hours before the board votes you out. Richard has the votes. Be smart." Marcus looked at the framed photo on his desk. Daniel at his medical school graduation, proud and idealistic, ready to change the world. "What would you do, son?" But he already knew the answer. Daniel had chosen truth over safety, had chosen justice over comfort, had paid the ultimate price for his convictions. Marcus picked up his phone and called his personal attorney, then his private investigator, then finally Emma. "We're going public," he said. "All of it. But we need to move fast." Have you ever had to choose between your own security and doing what's right? What would you risk to expose the truth, especially if it meant losing everything you'd worked for? Share your experience below. Your story might inspire someone else facing a difficult choice. Marcus had 48 hours before the board meeting that would strip him of control. 48 hours to gather evidence, build an unshakable case, and expose a conspiracy that reached into the highest levels of his own company. But he wasn't alone anymore. The first call he made was to Jennifer Walsh, an investigative journalist who'd been trying to interview him for months about pharmaceutical pricing. She arrived at the guest house that evening, her eyes widening as Emma laid out Daniel's journal page by page. "This is explosive," Jennifer breathed, photographing documents with shaking hands. If even a quarter of this is verifiable, it's the biggest pharmaceutical scandal in decades. But we need more than a dead man's journal. We need corroboration, witnesses, digital evidence. I can get into the company servers, Marcus said. I still have access to everything. They'll be monitoring your activity, Emma warned. The moment you start pulling those files, they'll know. Marcus smiled grimly. Then we make them think I'm doing something else. The next morning, Marcus walked into Blackwell Pharmaceuticals and called an emergency executive meeting. Richard Chen arrived with 3 board members, their expressions a mixture of concern and calculation. Gentlemen, Marcus began, his voice heavy with manufactured defeat. You're right. I haven't been myself. The grief, the isolation, it's affected my judgment. I've been seeing conspiracies where there are none, listening to a troubled young woman who's clearly unstable. He watched Richard's shoulders relax, saw the board members exchange relieved glances. I think it's best if I take a leave of absence. Let Richard run operations while I get my head straight. I'll recommend the board formalize his position as acting CEO. Marcus, that's very wise, Richard said smoothly. Take all the time you need. We'll keep everything running smoothly. I just need to tie up a few loose ends today, transfer some files, update some protocols. Then I'll step back. They left him in his office, convinced they'd won. What they didn't know was that Emma was in the parking garage, using Daniel's old security credentials to access the building's server room. What they didn't know was that Marcus's random file transfers were actually him downloading every incriminating document Daniel had referenced, plus dozens more he'd found in his week of quiet investigation. By noon, they had everything copied to 3 separate encrypted drives. By 3 p.m., Jennifer Walsh had verified enough of the story to run with it. By 5 p.m., Marcus received the call he'd been waiting for. Mr. Blackwell. The voice was professional, clipped. This is Agent Sarah Morrison, FBI White-Collar Crime Division. We need to talk about your company's pricing practices and the death of your son. Marcus felt his knees go weak with relief. The anonymous text had been right. Someone inside the FBI had been investigating, waiting for enough evidence to move forward. Daniel's journal, combined with Marcus's insider access, had given them exactly what they needed. I'll tell you everything, Marcus said, but I need protection for Emma Rodriguez. She's the one who made this possible. The next 72 hours were a blur of FBI interviews, emergency board meetings, and leaked documents that sent shockwaves through the pharmaceutical industry. Jennifer Walsh's story broke on a Wednesday morning, and by Wednesday afternoon, Blackwell Pharmaceutical stock had plummeted 30%. Richard Chen and 4 other executives were arrested on charges of corporate fraud, conspiracy, and, the one that made Marcus's hands shake when he heard it, conspiracy to commit murder. Daniel's accident had been carefully arranged, his brake lines cut, the crash scene staged to look like weather and mechanical failure. The detective who'd originally investigated confessed to taking payments to close the case quickly. The mechanic who'd inspected the vehicle admitted to falsifying his report. The web of corruption Daniel had uncovered went deeper than anyone had imagined. But Daniel had documented all of it. Every thread, every connection, every suspicious decision. He'd known the risks and had built his case anyway, ensuring that even if he couldn't see it through, someone else could. Marcus stood in front of the media 3 days after the arrests, Emma beside him, Jennifer's article displayed on screens behind them. My son, Daniel Blackwell, was murdered because he believed that medicine should save lives, not bankrupt families. Because he believed that profits should never come before people. Because he had the courage to stand up to a system I helped build that had lost its way. His voice cracked, but he pushed forward. I approved pricing decisions that put medications out of reach for people who desperately needed them. I signed off on patent extensions that delayed generic drugs for years. I told myself it was business, that it was legal, that someone else would do it if we didn't. My son died trying to prove that legal doesn't mean right. Marcus looked at Emma, drawing strength from her steady presence. Emma Rodriguez is alive today because Daniel used his own money to pay for treatment that should have been affordable. She's standing here because my son believed her life had value, even though our system told her it didn't. And she risked everything, her safety, her stability, her life, to make sure Daniel's work wasn't buried with him. He turned back to the cameras. Effective immediately, Blackwell Pharmaceuticals will be restructured as a benefit corporation, with a new mission: accessible medicine for all. We will be reducing prices on critical medications by an average of 65%. We will be releasing patents on life-saving drugs for generic production. And we will be establishing the Daniel Blackwell Foundation, dedicated to providing free treatment to patients who cannot afford care. The press conference erupted in questions, but Marcus held up his hand. I can't bring my son back. I can't undo the harm my decisions have caused. But I can honor his legacy. I can finish what he started. And I can make sure that he didn't die in vain. 6 months later, Marcus and Emma returned to the cemetery. The morning mist was the same, the stone path familiar beneath their feet. But everything else had changed. Emma was enrolled at Columbia University, studying public health policy. The Daniel Blackwell Foundation had funded her education, along with scholarships for 50 other students from underserved communities who wanted to work in healthcare. Marcus had stepped down as CEO, appointing a new leader committed to the company's transformed mission. He spent his days working with the foundation, meeting patients, hearing stories, trying to understand the human cost of the decisions he'd made in boardrooms. They stood together at Daniel's grave, and Marcus saw that someone had left fresh flowers. A card was tucked among the roses. Thank you for my mother's life. She got the medication because of you. The Martinez family. People leave flowers here every week now, Emma said softly. Families of patients Daniel helped. People who can afford their medicine now because of the price reductions. They know what he did. They remember. Marcus knelt, touching the stone with trembling fingers. I wish I'd known him the way you did. I wish I'd seen what he was trying to show me before it was too late. You're seeing it now, Emma said, kneeling beside him. And you're doing something about it. That's what Daniel wanted. Not revenge, not punishment, change. Real change. You know what the hardest part is? Marcus's voice was rough with emotion. I spent 20 years building a company, making billions, being called successful. And my 19-year-old son, volunteering at a free clinic with no power, no resources, no platform. He changed more lives than I ever did. Emma took his hand, and Marcus realized it was the first time she'd voluntarily touched him. Then let's keep changing them. Together. For Daniel. Marcus looked at this young woman who'd been homeless and terrified 6 months ago, who now stood confident and purposeful, about to start her first semester at an Ivy League university, who'd lost her only family but had gained the courage to fight for justice anyway. I have something for you, Marcus said, pulling an envelope from his jacket. Daniel left a letter. I found it in his apartment last week, hidden in a book. It's addressed to you. Emma's hands shook as she opened it. Marcus watched her read, saw tears spill down her cheeks, saw her smile through the grief. What does it say? He says. Emma's voice broke. He says if I'm reading this, it means he's gone. And it means I found you. He says he knew I'd keep my promise, because that's who I am. He says to tell you that he loved you, that he understood why you made the choices you did, but that he hoped one day you'd understand why he had to make different ones. She looked up. He says to tell you that changing your mind isn't weakness, it's wisdom. And it's never too late to become the person you were meant to be. Marcus felt something break open in his chest. All the grief, all the guilt, all the love he'd never properly expressed. He pulled Emma into a hug, and they stood there at Daniel's grave, two people who'd lost everything and found each other in a wreckage. Thank you, Marcus whispered, for not giving up, for finding me, for giving me a chance to make this right. Thank you for listening, Emma said, for believing me, for choosing truth over comfort. Behind them, the sun broke through the morning mist, casting golden light across the cemetery. Marcus thought about the ripples Daniel's life had created. The patients saved, the policies changed, the corruption exposed, the lives transformed. His son had given everything, but that everything had become something extraordinary. This story shows how one person's courage can change everything, even after they're gone. What legacy do you want to leave? What truth are you willing to fight for, even when it costs you? Challenge yourself to make one choice this week that honors someone who believed in doing the right thing. Share your commitment in the comments. 2 years have passed since that morning when Marcus found Emma crying at Daniel's grave. The transformation that began with one young woman's courage has created ripples that continue to spread. Emma graduated from Columbia with honors and is now working as a patient advocate, helping families navigate the healthcare system and access affordable medications. She speaks at medical schools across the country, telling Daniel's story and challenging the next generation of doctors to remember why they entered medicine in the first place. Marcus sold his mansion and moved into a modest home near the foundation's headquarters. He spends his days meeting with patients, reviewing cases, and working with lawmakers to reform pharmaceutical pricing practices. The billions he made during his corporate career are now funding free clinics in underserved communities. Clinics named after his son. The Daniel Blackwell Foundation has provided treatment for over 12,000 patients who couldn't afford care. The medications repriced by Blackwell Pharmaceuticals have saved an estimated 47,000 lives in 2 years. That number grows every day. Richard Chen and his co-conspirators are serving prison sentences ranging from 15 to 25 years. The investigation they tried to bury has sparked federal reforms in pharmaceutical oversight and pricing transparency. But perhaps the most powerful change is the one that can't be measured in numbers. Hundreds of healthcare workers inspired by Daniel's story have started their own initiatives. Free clinics, sliding scale practices, advocacy organizations. They wear blue ribbons in his honor, a symbol of medicine's promise to serve all people, not just those who can pay. Marcus visits Daniel's grave every Sunday, still at dawn, but he's no longer alone. Emma often joins him, along with patients whose lives were saved, families who can now afford their medications, and young medical students who've been inspired by Daniel's legacy. The flowers at the grave never stop coming. Daniel Blackwell was 23 years old when he died. He had no political power, no media platform, no army of followers. What he had was conviction. He had courage. He had a belief that one person, armed with truth and willing to sacrifice, could change a broken system. He was right. This story reminds us that real change doesn't always come from the top down. Sometimes it comes from a young doctor volunteering at a free clinic. Sometimes it comes from a homeless girl who refuses to let an injustice be forgotten. Sometimes it comes from a father who finds the strength to admit he was wrong and the courage to make it right. We all face moments when we have to choose between what's comfortable and what's right. Between protecting what we have and fighting for what should be. Between silence and speaking truth, even when that truth is costly. Daniel chose truth. Emma chose courage. Marcus chose redemption. What will you choose? Stories like this remind us that extraordinary courage exists in ordinary people. That one voice speaking truth can echo across thousands of lives. That it's never too late to change direction, to honor someone's memory by finishing what they started, to become the person you were meant to be. If this story touched your heart, please like this video. It helps more people discover these powerful true stories of courage and transformation. Subscribe for more tales of ordinary people doing extraordinary things, of justice found in unexpected places, of legacies that outlive us all. Hit that notification bell so you never miss a story that might change how you see the world. And most importantly, look for your own moment of truth. Maybe it's speaking up against something you know is wrong. Maybe it's helping someone everyone else has overlooked. Maybe it's having the courage to admit you were wrong and choosing a better path forward. What truth will you fight for? What injustice will you refuse to ignore? What legacy will you leave? Let me know in the comments below. Your story matters, and it might inspire someone else to find their own courage. Thank you for watching this journey with me. Thank you for caring about stories that matter. And remember, you don't need billions of dollars or power or influence to change someone's world. You just need to care enough to try. Daniel Blackwell proved that. Emma Rodriguez proved that. And maybe, just maybe, their story will help you prove it too. Until next time, keep seeking truth, keep fighting for justice, and keep believing that one person really can make all the difference.